Hi. Thanks for
How you
talking,
doing?
Sean. I appreciate it. Good. You?
I'm very good.
Okay. I was gonna say the last time I talked to you was a conference call for Mongolian Deathworm.
I love that film.
No, it was good. I was thinking about it before I called. That I had talked to you for that long.
That's cool.
That's like 10 years ago, I think.
You're exactly right.
So, how did you first become involved in Born a Champion, and what attracted you to it?
Well, I wrote the story in 2007. A lot of people don't know, but it's a story that I wrote. It's the first thing that I wrote that's comes to the screen. So obviously, I wrote it, and I hope to one day get to play the part myself. And it took that long to get the film made. So, from 2007 to 2019, 12 years it took to get the film made. But I mean, it's a film about the summation of all my passions in life. Martial arts and family. Those are the two things that kind of keep me going on a daily basis. And it's my love letter to a martial art that's truly changed my life. That I hope to one day leave as a legacy for my kids. You know.
Right. So was it based on a person though, or anything, or just all from your head? Because I kind of wondered watching it. I don't know so much about MMA, so
A lot of truisms that were in this martial arts world in the early 90s. It is a period piece. It's when MMA and didn't even have a name, MMA. It was called NHB, No Holds Barred. And then with sanctioning bodies and regulations, they called it mixed martial arts. It's a little more consumer friendly than No Holds Barred.
yeah.
So it's very, very authentic from top to bottom. But I wrote the character Mickey Kelly. It's a completely fictitious character. Although I wanted to portray this in a very documentary style, because there are a number of elements to this story that are incredibly true. And I certainly hope it's received that way.
Now, obviously, you fight yourself. Do you practice now, or did you have to still get in shape for the movie to get ready for it, or are you still?
No, I mean, this is a big part of my life. Like, for example, today I teach a kids class at 5 and an adults class at 6:30. So I'll be training until 9 o'clock at night tonight. You can see I kind of have a little mouse on my cheek here from yesterday morning, but it doesn't stop. I got into martial arts when I was 9 years old, and it's a lot of years on the mats. But it's a passion of mine. It's not I don't have to set an alarm to wake up in the morning to go train. It's as necessary as breakfast or lunch or dinner. So nothing changed. I didn't change my workout structure. I didn't change anything. I wanted this guy to look like the real guy that he is. And that's what a guy looks like when he does it every single day. He's not a steroid riddled, chiseled person. He looks like somebody that trains every single day in a very realistic display of that.
Right. So, did you do then all? I assume you did all your own movements and stunts and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I did everything. I designed the stunt choreography. I coordinated it all. I did all my own stunts. And I surrounded myself with a lot of amazing martial artists. So the trust there is without question. You can do high amplitude throws with somebody that knows exactly what they're doing without a second thought. The people that I surrounded myself with, people that I trust implicitly. Edson Barbosa, Mickey Gall, Renzo Gracie, one of the godfathers of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a Michael Jordan of Jiu-Jitsu. He was gracious enough to have him in my film. And he's actually the legacy of the lineage of my black belt. So it was an easy way to put this together. Surround yourself with those kind of people.
Right. Now, I mean, I'm assuming going by their last name, the kids that played your son in the movie, are those your kids? Because
They are.
I
Yeah.
figured that because it seemed very genuine, and I wondered when I was watching, I'm like, I got to look up who plays these kids. So they did really good.
Yeah. Yeah. At two different ages. Those are my youngest son and my oldest son.
So what was it like working with them, I guess, actually, and playing with them?
Man, it's one of the joys of my life, to have them in the first story that I've written that saw the big screen, and it's a combination of three things that I love. You know, I love the film business, I love martial arts, and in first place, I love my family.
Yeah.
And I had all of the above combined. So I mean, I can't say enough about it, man. You know, it
Do
was
you
a joy,
have
it was a pleasure. It was great.
do you have a favorite scene? Just in general, it doesn't have to be with them, but
Uh, you know, it's there's a certain signature that I think the story goes from highs and lows,
mm,
and it's a, you know, a bittersweet concerto of extreme love and extreme violence. And I love a lot of different moments of the film and scenes from the film for very, very different reasons. Um, you know, I'd be a little biased because I wrote it. So,
yeah.
but yeah, as far as on the day shooting, you know, certainly, you know, the moments with my boys are, that's hard to top, man.
Yeah.
That's hard to top.
So I kind of figured. Do you have like a certain line that sticks out that you wrote that you can think of, quote or?
You know, again, without sounding incredibly biased, but you know, the love letter to jujitsu, where Mickey is talking uh, to the sheikh at the beginning of the story, when he talks about, you know, there are no, you know, jujitsu, when you clap hands and you go and you spar, you know, that mat is gonna confirm every truth and expose every lie. You know, there are no bell curves on a martial art. You either earn a belt or you don't. It's quite absolute. You know, the truth is in behavior. It's not in words. You know, that's my verbal homage to the martial art, because it's the one thing in my life that's truly been a very accurate measuring stick for a lot of elements of a person. And I've relied on that to, you know, measure character a lot of times.
Okay. Well, knowing that you obviously don't have a trouble with the stunt, you know, part of it since you do it all the time, what was the most challenging?
You know, it's when people ask me that, it's, you know, I've had so many real jobs in my life. I mean, I moved furniture when I was in college. I worked at Church's Fried Chicken. I had a paper route when I was 8, and you had to be 13 to have a paper route, and I lied and got a buddy to sign up and threw the papers anyway. So I've had so many jobs.
Yeah.
Man, the most difficult part of this industry still pales in comparison. I used to dig ditches. When I say that, I put culverts under driveways. I mean, I actually dug ditches. And it's crazy. You know, in this industry, people can tell you 10 years later, they can say, hey, man, amazing job in that film that you did 10 years ago. Never once did somebody come through the drive-through of Church's Fried Chicken and
Yeah.
say, hey, I just wanted to say, solid golden brown on that wing last week. That never happened. Not once. Not once did somebody come and go, hey, man, you put that drainage culvert under my driveway 10 years ago, still draining like a charm. Thank you for that. That never happened, you know? So I don't sleep on the benefits of this industry. There's certainly trials and tribulations, but they pale by comparison to what I consider a real job. What I consider a real job is something that you would not do unless they pay you to do it. And in this industry, you know, you have people that drive 3,000 miles away from home, find a roommate on Craigslist, and then they do this job for free in hopes that somebody will see them do it and eventually start to pay them to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know any surgeon that said, you know what, I'm going to do open heart surgery and slice open your aorta. And maybe if enough people live after I do this, they'll start paying me. I don't, it's the one industry that people would do for free. And I'm very grateful to be a part of that. So there's not a lot that's so difficult that it warrants even pointing out, you know?
Right, right. I get that. So, when you wrote the script, is there anything that really changed from your original vision until the end, or?
You know, not a lot. You know, I wrote it in 2007 and it stayed incredibly accurate to the story. You know, it took so long to make it. You know, the character was going to be, you know, early 40s. Then 10 years later, we made him 47, which is still very accurate for the time. these lifelong martial artists, back in the 90s were the ones that were viable fighters, only because kids didn't start learning true fighting, true mixed martial arts until they were, 20. And so the mat time alone would put you at least 30 to have the skill set to enter in an MMA ring. So the only thing that we changed was really the age, and that's it. It stayed pretty true, and I'm grateful for that. A big product of that is, it's not a big studio film with 1,000 executives,
Right.
opinions on it, and in that respect, I feel like we stayed true to the auteur concept, from idea, inception, to the pen, to final draft, to the casting, to the execution. It stayed very true to the original story.
Right. Well, it was really good. I enjoyed it. It had a lot of heart. I definitely teared up a couple times. So.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but I appreciate
Well, no,
I
that makes it
appreciate
a good movie. So,
it.
so do you have any other projects in the works or that's coming out or anything like that you can talk about a little bit?
Shortly after this, I have Assault on VA-33 coming out in 2021. That's another Lionsgate film. And I'm also going to be on season 3 of a pretty cool TV show that's on Amazon Prime that they haven't made an announcement yet. But so I'm supposed to seal the lips, but I'm pretty excited about that because it's a show that a lot of people watch. So hopefully 2021 will allow us to get out more in the sunshine and,
That would be nice.
put the confines of 2020 behind us.
All right. So other than the fighting and everything that you still do, what have you been doing during this? Well, I guess now it's not, well, actually here they locked it back down, but it's not quite what it was before. But what have you been doing to keep busy?
Well, out here in Texas, I'm in Harris County, so I'm outside of the city. I don't even live in a city. Like, we're not incorporated, so I'm outside of Houston, the Northwest area. So on my property, I have a training facility. So even on lockdown, because we were already training with people that live outside of the city, we were all a family that was all together. So the vast majority of my students, we kept training. For example, I have a class today at 5 o'clock. I have another class at 6:30. But they're all people that were training together prior. For example, we don't open the door. We don't have any new people coming in. But for these people that don't do any traveling, we're kind of sequestered on our own. We've kept training. We never stopped. It's a part of not just it's a part of the soul that kind of keeps you going. I think it's unhealthy to stop that. And at the same time, haven't allowed any people of dubious provenance come into the fold, unchecked. So it's been a time of isolation, but reflection, but we haven't really changed anything. We've just kind of done it all on a much more compressed formula.
Well, that makes it at least, I guess, a little bit easier if you're not too thrown out of sorts.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've been obviously in a lot of different projects, but is there any thing you still want to do, like a certain dream role or something? Obviously this you wrote, so I guess this was kind of a dream role, but is there anything else that sticks out to you that you still want to do?
Yeah, I had a book that I wrote in 2016 called Jane 2. So the next thing on my big plate as far as writing and producing would be that. I want to put that story on the screen. If people watch Born a Champion and they like that, I think they're gonna feel the same way about Jane 2.
Awesome. So I did have a question from a fan who wanted to ask, what do you want to be remembered for as a fighter?
An amazing husband and dad. And I know you said fighter,
Yeah.
but an
No,
amazing husband and dad.
so
I want to be known, as staying true to those. As far as, there's a big discrepancy between a martial artist and a fighter. A fighter is anybody that is willing to go to blows. A martial artist knows every aspect of fighting, from conflict avoidance all the way to extreme violence. And I want to be known as somebody that can let their kids know contain more than just hope, but have the compassion and empathy to compartmentalize that and sidestep violence if at all possible. Amazing husband and dad. If I'm even 10% of that, I'll be happy. At the end of the day, my family is more important than anything else in my life.
All right. Well, great. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to me. And like I said, I enjoyed the film. So
I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.
bye-bye.